Yeah, he's not just going to randomly find meth at some truck stop, I don't think.
Yeah, he's gonna be like, "Hey, do any of you guys?" This is a weird question. Do you have any meth? And someone's be like, "Yeah, I got some." No, it doesn't happen.
It's not going to be like the TV shows where he's sitting there and he's looking a little, tired. He's worried, and someone walks up to, hey, I know, I see you're stressed and you want to get home, but you try this.
Yeah, opens his
It's not
trench coat and there's just meth blinded. Like, no,
yeah. That's not how it works.
no. Maybe he got a little too cozy with some of these birds.
Only explanation I have in where a Fiat Uno could keep up with a Mercedes S280, okay?
It's not that I wouldn't fight Mothman. I would beat the shit out of him.
We're seasoned.
So wait, you mean to tell me they have a festival commemorating the day a man got his shit rocked by an extraterrestrial carrot?
My neighbors across the street, they are not real.
But a pyramid is the most boring shape.
Part Sasquatch, part trickster midget.
Welcome to the Conspiracy Kitchen.
What's going on, guys? Thank you for joining us in the Conspiracy Kitchen, where we attempt to find the secret ingredients behind life's daily mysteries. I'm Joe, and always I'm accompanied by the cryptid killer over here, Joshua.
Hi, kids.
And today, we've got a little strange disappearance mishap. We like to do some of these unsolved mysteries sometimes. And so the menu, special on the menu will be this Devin Williams, 29-year-old truck driver out of Emporia, Kansas. So, May 23rd, 95 is Memorial Day weekend. Williams, he left his house in Kansas to deliver a shipment to California. He's used to, it's a very familiar route for him to do. He successfully delivered the load from Kansas to California and picked up a new delivery, a refrigerated cargo of strawberries and lettuce, for his return trip to Kansas City, Missouri. Usually, you try to keep the truck full, more money that way. He spoke to his boss, Tom Wilson, that evening. He said there was no issues, and he was on schedule. This is obviously back in 95. They didn't have geotab-esque things, GPS tracking on the trucks. For your logbook, he wrote a paper logbook, so he had to stay up to date, I guess. And with phone calls at his stops, probably didn't have a cell phone either. So then May 27th, 95, Williams stopped at a truck stop in Kingman, Arizona. Driving for about 4 days, he skipped his usual routine and decided just to go right to bed, sleep in his sleeper in his truck's cab. He then called the company headquarters complaining of insomnia. Weird, but he said he was determined to continue on his route and not stop. The next day, May 28th, Williams, driving his truck, was seen barreling through Tonto National Forest. Nowhere near his intended route anymore. Campers reportedly seen this truck speeding down dirt roads, one of them almost hitting an SUV, and it broke down. The people driving the SUV stated that they saw him driving by, didn't care that they were there, didn't want to ask if they needed help, and he just had a blank stare on his face. Shot down the road, and later became stuck in the mud. The truck got stuck in the mud through these dirt roads in this national forest. Eyewitness by the name of Charles Hall, who's a hiker, encountered him near the truck. He said Williams appeared dazed. He was barefoot. I don't know, his shoes went fucking missing somewhere along the lines. And confused. Now, it's interesting because he said, "They made me do it. I'm going to jail." So Charles was like, what the fuck is this guy talking about? You know what I mean? It's a little weird, right?
It's not something you want to hear when you first meet a man who's barefoot, but
Especially if they're barefoot, right?
next to a truck in a field, no.
And he said he thought maybe he was in trouble. Maybe. Could possibly be in trouble. But the guy made no attempt to seek help. He just wandered off into the forest. I don't understand. The following day, two more campers, this is May 29th now, Lynn and Jack, said they saw a man matching Williams' description, kneeling on the ground, staring at a tree, mumbling incoherent nonsense, and he was holding a $20 bill and hitting it with a rock, saying, "I gotta light the grill." When they offered him help, "Hey, sir, you all right over here? What are you trying to fucking do?" He threw a rock at them and walked away. So,
The fuck kind of strawberries were in that truck?
I don't mean to laugh, but like, what the fuck's going on here, right? We're already like out. We have no idea what the fuck's happening. So then they find Williams' truck after this. It was abandoned, where it was stuck in the mud. But the cargo that was on the manifest, lettuce into strawberries, was all there. Everything that was supposed to be in the truck was there. That was documented being in there, I should say, anyway. The interior of the truck was clean. No signs of struggle, like if something's trying to steal the truck, nothing like that. His briefcase was in there. Usually they carry briefcases for, like I said before, logbooks, atlases, maps, his paperwork, his manifests. The ice chest was in there because he's obviously over the road. He'd keep his food and stuff. And the sleeping bag was there. The duffel bag and his favorite cassette tapes were missing. So the duffel bag was gone with his clothes in it. And he carried back then in the 90s cassettes that he'd play while he's driving through the wood, like driving cross country to do these loads for his family to make money for the new house they bought and everything. 2 years later now, May 2nd, 97. Two hikers discover a human skull near about a quarter mile from where Williams was last seen. The skull is then taken, dental records are run on it, and they confirm the skull was his. But no other remains are found. They still have no body. To this day, no body has been found yet. And the skull had no signs of trauma. And they could not come up with a cause of death. So this is basically what's happened to him from when we know to, I guess, they found his skull. Now, the guy had, again, a wife, 3 kids, and they just bought a house. Just purchased this new house. So, to me, a little bit of stress probably going on off the rip, right? You got to worry about your 3 kids, trying to afford this new house. You're running cross country. You got perishable goods on your trucks, and there obviously is a timeline to get this back. It's not like he's just hauling nonsense, bricks or with freaking sugar, or it doesn't really have the same like pressure timeline as something that's perishable, and you want to make sure it gets there without, because then the whole load's done, and I guess the company loses money, then you get fired. So stress is probably a big factor here, huh?
Yeah, I would imagine. Plus, he just, he misses his family, which at that point just changed jobs and work near the house. But he was exhausted because he had been driving for like 4 days. And then that night, before he called his boss, he was like trying to sleep and just couldn't fall asleep. So couldn't fall asleep. He got like pissed off and like went into the truck stop. But I mean, at that point, like if I'm exhausted, like I don't care about the route anymore. I'm just trying to sleep at that point.
It's true. Now, usually, like say you're highly stressed, doesn't that kind of exacerbate not being able to sleep? Insomnia, sometimes.
Yeah, I guess.
Mind's running.
Yeah, but it's 1995 at that point. You're telling me the truck stop doesn't have anything to help you sleep?
Probably did. I would assume. I
mean, we've ventured to a lot of truck stops. They have everything from lawn furniture to new lamps. So they gotta have like something to help you sleep.
Yeah, I would think so. Did he take anything? We don't even know. And what sucks is that they didn't find his body for so long, and they still can't find the actual body, just a skull. So there was no way to determine what was in his system or anything like that. Now, obviously, 95, this is the new rules for trucking under DOT regulation is you have to have 10 hours off and then you can drive for 14 hours.
Yeah.
You after that, especially now with the it's all electronic logbooks to log driving, off duty, on duty, not driving times and stuff like that. You're in violation. Like, you'll instantly be in, if you go past what you're allowed to be, unless there's an exemption every so often for like weather. I think you can increase it to 16 hours of driving, but only once every 70 hours or something like that. But I might be wrong with that. Back then, it was common to run 2 logbooks even to give, like, if you did get stopped for DOT inspection, and the DOT officer asked for a logbook, you could give them a fake one to show that, hey, I've only been driving for 4 hours. Meanwhile, you've been driving for 20 hours. So it could have been possible he's just trying to get back and he didn't sleep. Perhaps.
Yeah, back then, yeah, I guess that would be the case. But I don't understand how that ventures into driving through the wilderness.
Exactly. I don't know. So we can get some of the theories that they mainstream tries to come up with because it's easy, that I don't necessarily agree with. One was a medical episode. That big theory about he might have been diabetic and blood sugar issue. Do you think this is possible?
I don't see. Nobody really knows enough about him to determine it.
Exactly. Yeah, he's just randomly gone.
Yeah, it's such an obscure one. Like, I don't know. Nobody knows him that well.
Huh.
Except his wife, Mary Lou.
Mary Lou. See, that right there, I don't know, to me, sets off something. Like, Mary Lou just seems like such a bland plant name. Like, it just is a plant. You know what I mean? Like, this person was planted. This is Mary Lou. You couldn't come up with anything different? I don't know. Maybe I'm overthinking it. Maybe my tinfoil cap's on too tight. But right off the bat, when I hear, oh, his wife Mary Lou, I'm like, something's off.
And not to talk shit on the deceased or a grieving family, but why does Devin and Mary Lou look very similar?
Yeah.
They look like they could be related.
They kind of do. But, yeah. So, I don't think he would have had some kind of diabetic episode. One, to be honest, even back then, you need a DOT physical to have a CDL to drive a truck to begin with. Diabetes, if it needs to be controlled with insulin, you cannot have a CDL. If it's diabetes and it's controlled with a pill or by watching what you eat, you need a DOT physical every year. Standards every 2 years. Now, for my job, I don't drive a tractor trailer, but my work truck, because I'm a mechanic, service tech, my service truck is DOT regulated. I don't need the CDL. It's not that heavy. It's under 26,000 pounds, but it's over 10,000 pounds. I have to get a DOT physical every year because of my blood pressure. I think they would know if he had diabetes. You know what I mean? Like, this would be documented that this guy suffers from diabetes, and this would have been some kind of, but there's no evidence that he ever had diabetes. So I don't feel like this could be possible. Anything of this. Even if he could have seizures, which some people say, oh, maybe it was seizures. You have to have a DOT physical, like I said. So to drive a truck, they will know a lot about your medical history. I don't think a medical episode happened here.
No. Plus his employer and his family all stated he had no issues. He was like a perfect employee.
Yeah.
So there was no medical anything going on.
So, yeah, we're crossing off medical episode, scratching it right out of the list, right?
Debunked.
There's no way. There's no way he could have a CDL and run the way he did and have medical issues in this kind of way that would make him do this.
You know how strict they are with the CDL shit. I couldn't get one because my neck was a little fat. So
So if your neck's fat, you have to go for a sleep study. Yeah, they'll measure your neck. They'll think you have sleep apnea, and they'll send you to a doctor's office to sleep overnight with a bunch of wires and shit attached to you, microphones, and you gotta lay in a bed on your back, and then you have to sleep with a bunch of cameras facing you. I don't know how people would even be able to do it, to be honest.
No.
So I feel like you'll fail the sleep test just because you're uncomfortable and just being stared at by 15 cameras. So I don't know. My neck is a big. I when I do my DOT physical, they measure the neck, and they're like, okay, you're good. You don't have to worry about it. So yeah, I medical reasons, CDLs, they're very it's very strict, and it's only gotten more strict. So I just don't see that.
dude, back after high school when I was gonna join the army, I went to the all-day physical at the base, and my recruiter was like, "Look, man," he was from the South. He's like, "Look, man, you got a fat neck, boy. You gotta swallow and then just hold it in, and it'll be skinny." And I looked like an asshole the entire day because I'm walking around holding in like a gulp just because my neck was fat. Ugh.
Oh yeah, that's when I used to meet up with you. When we'd take walks. Remember those days?
Yeah, when I had to lose weight and I got a little extreme with it and lost 65 pounds in 3 months.
Dr. Now would be proud.
It would be.
Yeah.
Well, if they saw what I'm eating now. I literally had 2 big plates of penne vodka and a donut with Oreos on it.
Yeah, you wouldn't be happy.
No.
No. So, medical episode done. Yes. Well, moving on.
Yes.
What about sleep deprivation?
It's reasonable, but I've never seen a tired person go that apeshit.
That's what I'm saying. So, he was not, I mean, he wouldn't have slept, let's say, the most 4 days without sleep. I mean, yeah, he's starting to, but is that long enough to cause the hallucinations where you're acting out, like where you don't know the difference between dreams and being awake? Like, you know how, what is it, like micro naps or something, because your body's like freaking tired and it's falling asleep and you're kind of in and out of what's real and not. I don't know if that's long enough.
I don't think it is. Micronaps are weird because you're dreaming while you're awake. But yeah, I don't... Maybe it is, but I feel like if that were the case, most people in, like, war zones who have to be awake constantly would be suffering from that more.
Yeah. So, like, this... I don't know. He complained about not being able to sleep, but, I mean... 4 day, it just seems this one's a little hard for me, but because I don't have experience being awake that long. I think the longest I've been awake is maybe like I missed one night, so like 30 something hours, and I wasn't anywhere near to losing my mind. I just had like heavy eyelids, so adding a couple more days, I don't know. But I don't see you then driving into the woods and just dying. You know what I mean?
No, I see you just falling asleep. Like, you don't drive through the woods.
You fall asleep at the wheel, yeah, and then you get into an accident. You don't just drive into the woods with blank stares and then scream, "They made me do it. I'm going to jail."
Yeah, no, you jump the sidewalk and ram through a deli. You don't drive into a field.
Yeah, you don't drive into the state forest and freaking pretend like I don't know.
Trying to light the grill with a $20 bill on a rock.
yeah. And there's no grill around. So that one, I just don't see it. You usually just fall asleep. Most of these guys, especially if you're in good health. So if we go back to the medical episode thing, and he's being physical, you're in good health. I just feel like you're gonna fall asleep at the wheel and cause destruction that way. I don't see you driving and being like awake and just losing your mind. So I'm leaving sleep deprivation. It's debunked.
Yeah.
Debunked.
I'll stamp that debunked.
All right. Yeah. We would stamp that debunked. We'll throw it in the garbage. Number 2. Or number 3, I should say. Sorry. I can kind of see maybe getting behind this. So, drug use. So now he's got strawberries and lettuce. You don't want him to perish. You're trying to make the run from California. You don't want to fall asleep. You want to make the run. Maybe a little meth to keep you awake, right?
Hmm.
So you're using this to stay awake, and you have a psychotic reaction to the meth. But I feel like this... there would be probably evidence of a history of doing this, right? Especially if this is a route he's done before. Like, he's familiar with this route. He does this route. He's done this several times. I feel like there'd be an evidence of meth use prior to this. And, like, his family, his wife said no, he's not, never known of him doing drugs. His employer has stated that he passes every drug test, never has any drugs in his system.
Mm-hmm.
So, this, could he why would he randomly just do meth he knows this trip, he knows how long it takes him, right? He knows how to go back and forth on this route. Why would he need meth this time to stay awake, to try to get back?
He wouldn't.
He probably wouldn't, right? He knows this route.
He knows the route, and I get he just got the house, and he's worried about, because it was a fixer-upper, and he's worried about stuff going on at home. But even then, it's not enough to make you want to try a substance for the first time just to get you there fast. It doesn't add up.
Yeah, especially, like, say, because his wife stated that it was, like, the happiest time in their marriage. They just bought this new home. There's a fixer-upper. They're going to do it together. They got the 3 kids. I don't see him, like, taking the risk, especially if he's never done drugs before, to sit there and be like, you know what? I'm going to take meth. And I'm going to get, you know what I mean? I want to get back to my wife and house faster. I'm just going to take meth. I don't see that happening.
Yeah, as someone who has experimented with...
Who's dabbled in this topic?
Not meth, but in that direction. Never to that extent, but you don't start with meth. At no point has anyone ever said, you know what, it looks cool.
I'm going from 0 to 100.
Yeah, all the kids are doing it. Like, no, that's not how that works. And people don't realize this, if you don't do drugs, you don't know where to look for drugs. So if this guy has never touched them before in his life, always comes up clean on a piss test, he doesn't know where to get meth. I'm sorry.
Yeah, he's not just going to randomly find meth at some truck stop, I don't think.
Yeah, he's going to be like, hey, do any of you guys... This is a weird question. Do you have any meth? And so he'll be like, yeah, I got some. No, it doesn't happen.
It's not going to be like the TV shows where he's sitting there and he's looking a little, tired. He's worried, and someone walks up to, hey, I know, I see you're stressed and you want to get home, but you try this.
Yeah, opens his trench coat and there's just meth blinded. Like, no.
Yeah. That's not how it works.
No. You fucking, you ease into it. I'm not trying to teach people how to do drugs, but you ease into it. You see what line you got to stop at, and then you don't go further. Otherwise, it graduates to meth, where no one wants to be.
And then you lose your teeth, right?
You lose your teeth. You smell. Just stick to weed. I don't know. I don't know what we're talking about at this point, but yeah, you don't start with meth.
I feel like for someone like him, if he wanted to get home, like a truck driver always clean, he'd probably go with coffee.
Yeah.
Just stick with the caffeine. That's what I feel.
Dude, get a giant cup of Colombian dark roast and just fucking coast.
Yeah.
Bless you.
Oh, thank you. So next. Sudden onset of mental illness.
See,
No?
This episode's hitting too close to home because this is all hitting like... I've dealt with that too, and at no point have I driven my car into a forest. No. I don't think that would cause it either.
So you're not saying a sudden onset of schizophrenia?
Is that a possibility? Like, is
I
there?
don't know.
I don't think you could just get like random schizo attacks,
Yeah, I didn't think so either.
like a coughing fit. No, it's
And again, like me, again, going back, DOT physicals. This is to deal with health, right? This would be known. Something like this would probably be known. Again, his family says no, he's not he doesn't have schizophrenia. He never had any type of mental illnesses. He doesn't take anything for it. His lawyer said he's never had any of this type of incidents happening. I don't see this being I don't see how you just drive to California and then suddenly get schizophrenia. I just don't see that happening. This one's a quick debunk. I don't understand how this could even be possibly what they think could be a possibility.
It's not, because that's not how mental illness works. It's a whole life thing. You don't just kind of...
Yeah, you just don't get it, right?
Yeah.
Quickly.
Yeah,
I don't know.
You don't develop it over... No, you have it. That's it.
Yeah.
So I'll debunk that one because...
Debunked.
I call it
debunk
bullshit.
Quick.
Yeah.
Bullshit. I don't think that's possible. I don't think he just gets schizophrenia. Another one they have listed here we can go through. Carbon monoxide poisoning. They're saying maybe exposure from carbon monoxide from his truck caused confusion, disorientation. Again, this is what I'm gonna. I don't believe it. This is nonsense. This is not a. He doesn't own the truck. A company owns the truck. So again, this isn't like cars and stuff. When you have a DOT regulated vehicle, this thing needs to be this thing gets thoroughly inspected minimum once a year. 2, he's cross country driving. If you've seen these you're on the highway, you're going to see them. DOT inspection spots. They'll be open or closed. You'll see them. All trucks enter. Again, they get randomly inspected. A carbon monoxide getting into the cab would be an exhaust leak. An exhaust leak is an instant out of service, and you cannot drive the truck. For him to have this much carbon monoxide pouring into the cab, I don't see this happening. I don't see the truck having exhaust rotted away this much or anything to cause this to cause carbon monoxide buildup inside the cab. Yeah, it's disorienting and stuff like that. It can cause confusion, but I don't see that even being able to become a thing.
Wouldn't that cause you to sleep?
It would probably knock. Yeah, well, I mean, yes, carbon monoxide does make you fall asleep, and then you die. But it does cause confusion. It can cause confusion and disorientation first. But I don't see you then driving. What was he? 100 miles out of the way off his route instead of just taking 40 west. He decided to go south. I think on, what was it, whatever highway, some Arizona interstate highway south, and then ending up, 100 miles away from your place, and then driving through the woods, and then getting out and running off into the woods. And then I'll put it this way. And then the next day, someone's seeing him, and he's still disoriented. I mean, he's out of the truck now. He has all the fresh air in the world. Eventually, your body will get rid of the carbon monoxide, or I mean, if that was that much, you'd be dead. You know what I mean? I don't know. What's the first thing you do when you got carbon monoxide? They put you on oxygen. He's outside the truck. He's in the woods.
Yeah, you don't get much more oxygen than that.
Yeah, so again, this theory is, in my eyes, debunked. And I'm going to say this after that. I think there's something... I think the actual reason is far beyond anything easy here, to be honest. But I'll just say that now. We'll continue with these other ones. They're trying to. Another one was a suspected hijacking. But again, we go back. The cab was untouched. The truck's still there. The cargo's intact. Although, I mean, who really wants to steal lettuce and strawberries? Unless something else was in the truck. Now, I guess I can get into this a little bit. This is not my main go-to for what happened here, but it's interesting to think about this. What if, there was someone in the sleeper behind him, holding him gunpoint, whatever, and they had cargo that wasn't on the manifest in the truck, and he got stuck in the mud like a schmuck. He's driving like they're like, dude, you're going the wrong way. He gets stuck in the mud, and they're like, you fucking asshole. And, then they're like, fuck. He wanders off because he doesn't want to get killed, and they get out, take the cargo, and leave. Perhaps. Could be a possibility. But I still don't think I don't think it's the reason. Do you think there's anything to do with hijacking?
No, it's too clean. There was no signs of struggle. It's like the Mary Celeste. Everything was left untouched. No pirates.
Yes, we did a full episode on the Mary Celeste, to be honest. If you want to go back and check it out, if you haven't listened to our earlier episodes. I suggest you go check that out, because that's another weird ship disappearance thing that ship was just made in Canada and just a disaster to begin with. But yeah, if you guys want to go back and check that out, it's a couple episodes ago.
Yeah, we solved that one. So
that one we solved.
Yes.
Our own. On our own.
Yeah.
Then we got heat stroke. Now, yes, it gets hot out there, right? But it's not like in August, Arizona. Now, my grandfather's brother, so that makes my great uncle, he used to run a tractor trailer through that area. And he said in August, you'd be running and you think your air conditioner's not even freaking working. And you're like, why is it so hot in my cab? And then you roll the window down and you realize, the air conditioner's working. It's just freaking hell's asshole outside. So it's August, though. This is May. This is the end of May. It's not as hot. But again, he's got a company-owned truck. And this is 95. At this point, air conditioning is pretty common. Almost every truck in his truck, 99% chance had AC. I don't think he's succumbing to heat stroke, sitting behind the wheel, driving in AC.
Even if you did get heat stroke, that's not how you would react. Because I've gotten it. I didn't lose my mind. I was just very tired and just kind of felt sick. That's it.
Sick. Maybe. I mean, this is what they're saying. And then the wild animals thing, I don't see the wild animals would only explain why his body isn't found. It's not going to explain the wild animals lured him into the woods and then ate him. That doesn't make any. The wild animals thing does not solve the crime. It just says, where did his body go? It doesn't give you a theory on why he did what he did. So the wild animals thing is just stupidity, if you ask me.
Because this is what makes it so interesting. All they found was his skull, right?
All they found was his skull.
So he didn't decapitate himself. And it was,
exactly.
And the people who found it said it was placed. It looked like it was just placed perfectly on the path that they were on. So, yeah, he didn't do it himself.
Yes, and the last update they have on this case was 2023, and at that time, it's unsolved, no new leads reported, the only thing they have is his skull, no body found, his wife and kids are still looking for answers, but they couldn't, and, they haven't come up with anything, and that is it. Nothing else. No new evidence, no foul play, nothing has been found in this area.
I don't know. This is a weird one. Because even if he just, like I said, even if he just disappeared on his own, just fucked off into the woods, he didn't decapitate himself.
He didn't decapitate himself. So there's another one that's he voluntarily disappeared. But he's obviously dead because they found his skull. So they're saying they went in the cab of the truck. He left behind his ice chest, like I said, the sleeping bag, some other stuff, but he took a duffel bag and some cassette tapes. So this kind of leads to the theory of maybe he was just freaking out. I don't know, maybe he didn't he couldn't take the house anymore, the stress, and he was like, fuck it, I'll just dump the truck, take these clothes, And of course, I got to bring my cassettes.
It's got a party.
Fuck off into the woods and live in the woods, and then he succumbed to a bear or something and died.
I think he met an unsavory character.
Unsavory.
Yeah, I think this is just my theory now. One of them. He was a little disoriented from the sleep deprivation, but I feel like he met maybe a serial killer who took advantage of the situation. And yeah, that's why there's just a skull left behind.
So you think it was a serial killer?
Maybe.
Perhaps. I mean, that could be a possibility. There's a possibility of, again, like I said, maybe they're financially tight, causing stress. He's worried about the new house. He doesn't want to let his family down. Somehow, someone finds out, he runs back and forth. Not a lot of people know him. Perfect person, fly under the radar, to have maybe run drugs. The drugs are stored in the truck, not on a manifest, obviously. Why would you do that? You'd be stupid to do that. So when they get to the cargo, it's intact because it's, everything here is on the manifest in here intact. But there's maybe a couple extra boxes put in the trailer. He then maybe didn't want to go through with it. So then he's, second thoughts. So that's the whole thing with, they made me do it, I'm going to go to jail. He goes into the woods with the truck. Maybe he's being followed, chased, and he dumps the truck. They come get the drugs, obviously, out of the truck because they don't want it just sitting there. And they track him down after a while, and he is then murdered.
Could have been the drop-off point in the woods. That's why he was on the
drop-off point in the woods. Like I said before, this is 95. You're not being tracked. It's not a geotab type situation with the logbooks and the GPS and the location. It's just making phone calls when you get to your next stops. So they didn't know the truck was there unless someone sees it. And then they'd have to call the company and all this other shit, which happened, I guess, after a while. And the drop-off point was in the woods, or he didn't want to do it. He was trying to lead away. Didn't want his family involved. He said, fuck it. And maybe they tracked him down in those woods and they killed him. Cut the head off. Maybe they dumped the body somewhere else. And maybe they left the skull behind just for closure on it, and then the body was taken somewhere else and freaking disposed of so that they didn't know he was murdered. I like this theory but I have other theories too. But I can kind of get behind this because it fits with, why would he say, they made me do it, I'm going to jail?
Yeah, what else would that mean?
Could be other things, but for him to be like that, I don't know. But that doesn't explain the whole next day, I gotta light this grill, striking a $20 bill with a piece of the rock. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Unless those people were planted.
Unless they were the ones that killed him.
Yeah, maybe they were just plants, or they were the ones that killed him, and they're just trying to throw him off. Oh yeah, he was insane.
Yeah.
I don't know where he went. I don't know.
It's a perfect cover. He just kind of rambled on and then fucked off into the wilderness.
Never to be seen of again until they find his skull.
Yeah.
Like I said, that for me, of all the ones I just listed so far, that one, I mean, it's not, I don't see that being anywhere on any of the mainstream theories. But I was thinking of that myself, and I kind of like that to an extent of being a possibility. New homeowner, needing money, running drugs. Man, I don't want my family involved in this. Now I'm being followed. I know too much. Let me get out of the way. Try to take a different route. They're still on me. I'm going through the woods trying to get away because, why would you run on public roads? And then you get the truck stuck. You're like, fuck, let me get out, run away. Don't want to die. They're not going to kill me right in plain sight with all these people around, but they're going to eventually kill me if I stay here. Into the woods. They take their drugs out of the truck, however they had them stored, and then they hunt them down in the woods and take care of them.
It's very plausible. You're hard up for cash. You're going to do something a little iffy.
Yes. Could. Yeah, exactly. Now, you mentioned something before that I like to get behind because I like to do not just normal shit. I don't like this normal nonsense. I always think there's, some otherworldly stuff. And I like aliens too on top of it. But I do like your one theory. So what were you saying to me before?
Oh, how the mountain range he was in was like haunted as shit,
Yes.
and how
This is
there's
what I want.
people have, they've said there could be upwards of like 600 deaths in those mountains,
Yes.
all because there was like a lost gold mine. It's called the Lost Dutchman's Mine, and a lot of people
Okay.
have died trying to get to it. But I think, maybe he got possessed
Okay, yes.
because when he almost hit that SUV, the driver said he had no expression on his face, like he was just
None.
zoned the fuck out. Could he have been possessed?
Could he have been by a demon or something? A demonic possession?
Something. And it dragged him there to die just like the rest.
Yeah, because apparently it's normal. This isn't like a. Apparently, some people. There's been a lot of deaths, like you were saying. Apparently, a lot of people have died in this area, in this national forest that the truck was found in. And why? Why are so many people dying in this area? Now you're saying it's supposed to be haunted. There's some kind of gold mine. You're saying, could that gold mine have been cursed? Is it protected by some kind of supernatural thing? Now, where did it cause him to come off course? Or was this like where would the possession have taken place?
That's where my theory falls flat. But it's interesting to think.
No, I mean I like it. If we can figure out where he was possessed, where this deviation occurred, when he tried to go, a different way, because he was apparently, jumped off. He was supposed to be just taking 40 west, but somehow he started going south towards this place. Where would this have come from? It's like a 60-mile detour south.
Maybe the truck was haunted. I don't know.
The truck itself.
Yeah.
That's how you.
You ever see Overdrive? It happens. No, it's a fun theory up until you think about it more and realize it doesn't make any kind of sense. Why would he have gotten there before? Anyway, lots of people died in the mountains.
Yeah, so a lot of people have died in this area. Did something else bring him down there? Like what I was saying, to try to get away from something, or he was doing something else on the side, and then he was possessed, and that's why he freaking acted a fool. Why wasn't he sleeping before? He was nervous about running the drugs, and then it was two different circumstances ended up offing him. The possession later on kills him in the woods.
God damn it! Now the only one that makes sense is the drug one, because everything else just sounds stupid. But
I mean, yeah. I maybe I should have waited longer on that, but I don't know. I don't see. I looked through several different websites. I've asked Grok. No one mentions him trying to. They always say he was on drugs. No one ever mentions him maybe running drugs, and I see that as a huge just possibility with the new homeowner.
yeah, he's hard up for cash. He went to California, right?
Yeah, he was out in California where he made his first delivery. They don't mention what he was delivering out in California. Then they mention he picked up a load of strawberries and lettuce.
There are a lot of drugs in California.
Yeah, it's a great way to run them in from Mexico.
Yeah, just putting it out there.
But you know me. So you like the drug one, but you know me. I like aliens. I like UFOs, right? I like all that shit.
Mm-hmm.
We are not very far from Nevada, right? Arizona, California, Nevada. What's in Nevada? Area 51, right?
Mm.
This is Area 51. Now, he's maybe 200, 300 miles from Area 51 at this point. But why not? What if, on top, he's running these cargoes. He is also an unknown person. Maybe he needs a little extra money. He could be a good candidate to be one of the, the ghost truckers. I don't know if you know about these. They're the ones that deliver stuff to Area 51. They go down a side road, the dirt path. They park. They're not allowed to see where they are. Other vehicles come up and load and unload these trucks. And then before they're allowed to look around, something else comes and brushes away all the freaking tire marks from the ground. So you don't know which way they go.
That's creepy. What the fuck?
Yeah, you can look up these things. It's called like the ghost truckers for Area 51. So, what could he have been involved somehow with this? He's out there in this area. Is this all a cover up? Is this whole thing, he works for this company moving strawberries and lettuce and everything? Could this whole thing just be a complete fabrication of what he was actually doing, because he's actually working for the government?
What? Me?
I know. I'm giving you a lot of information here, I think. Am I overloading you?
A little.
A little bit. So, he's working for the government. Mary Lou. Come on. Is that a real name?
No. I've never met a Mary Lou.
So, he's working for the government. He's moving technology around or whatever. Alien technology, or dealing with aliens themselves. It's a refrigerated trailer because you got to keep the alien bodies cool, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right? It makes sense, right? You want to have the refrigerated trailer. What happens if he's doing this stuff, but something goes awry, perhaps? Or maybe some other aliens come back. Yo, this motherfucker's hauling dead aliens around. My freaking nephew's in there, my cousin or whatever, and they abduct his ass. Now, I mentioned this in our, Princess Diana podcast.
Oh, boy.
The abductions cause disorientation, right? His shoes are gone. Where's his shoes? They were gone in the abduction. His shoes flew off when they abducted him, perhaps.
But they combed the area. They never found shoes.
Where did shoes go? Maybe they're still on the freaking UFO. Maybe they came off up there in a struggle on the UFO.
Well, what the aliens do with shoes?
They just came off. They didn't want them. They came off. It was a struggle. They made me do it. The government was making him run bodies.
So he was
aliens.
He
technology.
was the body runner.
He could have been running bodies. He could have been technology, like I said, maybe technology. But the cooling, refrigerated trailer, a reefer, makes me seem maybe it was some kind of tech or dead aliens, or like aliens used for, experimentation. Their bodies are already like a cadaver, an alien cadaver. So he's running for the ghost truckers. He's running out of for 51. They say he went to California. Maybe he never even went to California. 4 days from maybe Area 51. 400 and some miles, they're saying. It seems a little... seems like a long time to get there, but... he could have been sitting around waiting for loads, unloads. Some of the aliens aren't very happy about this. There's a lot, especially in this time, the UFO flap in Arizona. A ton of UFO sightings are reported in this area at the time. He's running. They abduct him. They probe his ass, do whatever the aliens do up there, I don't know. They dump him back in the truck. He's all fucking frazzled. He has no idea. They made me do it. He drives off into the woods because he's still all messed up, doesn't know where he is from an alien abduction, just like the driver with Princess Diana. And I guess maybe they go back to do their bidding, or at this point now, the government's like, dude, this guy's a loose end. He knows too much. Maybe he saw what he was moving, and the government takes care of it. Every single one of them people could be plants. They could have dumped the truck there for all I know, and then 2 years later dumped the fucking skull. Or just threw the skull. Yeah, just throw the skull here.
How would he get that job, though? How do you go?
How did any of them get that job?
How do you go from delivering produce to alien bodies?
Who know? Like I said, who knows if he was even actually delivering produce?
Yeah.
That could have been just a story for whoever.
Then he gets abducted and the alien steals his Skechers.
They could have fell off in a fight, struggle.
Thought he was fist fighting an alien? That's my job.
Could you take an alien?
Yes.
Okay.
Not scared.
So what would you when the alien holds you down with the probe? What are you doing?
I'm not saying I'm not enjoying it, but
You're not afraid of aliens?
no, they're
Okay.
dumb and green and they got big heads. They look like a fucking light bulb. I'll kick the shit out of an alien.
Or maybe it was alien mind control. Now, we have slight mind control and stuff like we talked about just last episode with Disney. Aliens, I'm sure, have mind control. Maybe they veered him off course because he had what they needed, some technology that he was moving for the government. They veered him off course. They ran him into the woods. There's a drop up. Aliens are seen in these woods all the time. People see him all dazed and confused because he's under alien mind control. He stops, drops the truck. He wanders off into the woods because the aliens have to then come and get their technology back. And then he's either killed by the government for losing the technology and he knows too much, or the aliens off him themselves and leave his body there, just his skull.
Or they're not just technology. Maybe they were trying to get the aliens that were in the truck being transported.
Yeah, could have been live aliens, captured alien, I don't know.
Could have been an E.T. situation.
Could have been an E.T. But I'm just saying, Mary Lou seems like they just didn't try to make up a name. All these quote-unquote witnesses could all be fabrications. All of them could be just plants. And this guy's running for the ghost truckers, and he's moving alien technology. Now, the ghost truckers will, but they're not. They say it's just supplies and stuff for the Area 51. I don't know. Like my dad, a couple times when he was, and they do this too for, even if you're driving for another company. No, my dad was driving for another company at the time when I was a kid. He used to move meat. He had a refrigerated trailer because he would meat, hot dogs, corned beef, and stuff like that. I shouldn't say the name of the company. The company then calls him and says, hey, we got a load for you to pick up, because he would take the truck up to Connecticut, get a trailer, do all the deliveries here in Jersey, and then just go bring it home, and then go back and switch trailers, get the load again, and come down and do it in Jersey. Can you pick up? It was for the government. Can you get this load? And he said he did it. So they told him he had to stay in the truck. No, we'll load it. They told him it was a trailer full of office documents. Now, being like he's been driving since he was like 19. He says he's driving, and he says they put a seal on it and a lock on the back door so you can't open it. He said the truck, if it was loaded with office documents, that's a lot of paper. You feel that. He said it felt like it was empty, like there was nothing in there. And then he did the delivery, and he never thought of it again. But could this guy have been moving stuff like that? Like, they're real. The government has you move shit like that under wraps. So, like I was saying, this guy could have been doing this, and something went down, and they just made up all this fucking witnesses and all this shit to protect their ass.
See, I didn't know that. I didn't know the government could just make you move shit.
Yeah, like they're gonna pay. They paid his company. Hey, do this load. We'll pay you. You have your driver come pick this up. Like his company used to do that sometimes with other. Like they were always they're meat. They're a meat company. They delivered to Pathmarks when they were a thing. The supermarkets, like the big Wayne warehouses for them. But then they do like little side jobs just for extra money. Hey, your trailer's empty. You're going to be coming all the way back up here empty. Stop here. Like he used to do like some kind of fireproofing every once in a while. And they'd load his trailer with fireproofing to bring back to Connecticut. So he wasn't running empty. He was making money for the company on the way back up. the government would do that sometimes too. We need this moved. But he's like, if the trailer was full of office documents, I would feel it. I can feel when the truck has weight on it compared to not weight. The trailer ride's different. You're driving, you're slower if there's more weight, faster if there's less weight. He said it felt like it was empty, but it was all sealed up, locked, and everything. So something was in there. This guy could be doing the same thing. Maybe he got a little curious. A little too nosy. And he opened up the back. What's going on? What do we got in here? Boom. And then they said, fuck this guy. He knows. He knows what it is.
Yeah. A truck full of Ovaltine.
That would be absolutely amazing.
I mean, I would wander off into the wilderness in glee if I found a truck full of Ovaltine.
Well, nothing beats it. And maybe he wouldn't need meth, dude. If he wanted to get back from California to Kansas City, he would just load up on a nice tall glass of Ovaltine, give him all his vitamins and minerals, all the nutrients his body needed to continue that long haul and be alert and ready for anything that happened and get back on time.
Do that trip in fucking one night. Floor it.
Do it in one day, fucking flying. Avoid everything.
Yeah.
So what do you think? You think it's the drug thing that I brought up? Or are you leaning more towards maybe some kind of government shadow thing, alien technology, ghost trucker?
It's going to annoy people as much as I want it to be that. The one I'm leaning towards is the drug thing.
The drug, I mean, yeah, it's the easiest one to think. It's the... Because people don't believe that there's aliens. People are not going to believe that there's some kind of alien technology out there. Now, I do. I'm assuming you do. I think you do.
Well, yeah.
You like aliens. But I guess, like, the most mainstream one that the most people would agree with, to be the easiest to agree with, would be some kind of drug running situation where he's just, a young father, 29 years old, just bought a house, kind of strapped for money a little bit, running hard for his family, trying to get it done, and want to get a little extra money. I can fit this in the truck too. I got the lettuce and the strawberries. I still got some space. Throw them in the back, or maybe put them up front, hide them, and just let me run them too. A little extra money. I can get this done. That's why I don't want to stop. That's why I was awake the whole time. I didn't sleep. They thought I was sleeping. I'd made a detour, picked up this stuff when they thought I'd be sleeping, and then continued to run to stay on track. And then shit went south.
Yeah, that's 100% what I believe.
100%. Could be possible, yes. That's probably the most plausible one. But I really, really like the alien one. The government ghost trucking shadow one. I want that one to be real so bad. You know what I mean?
I do too.
Like, I thought about this, and I'm like, this would be an awesome freaking... Not that, that his death was awesome for his family or anything, but this would be an awesome explanation to a mystery that's gone, since just after we were born, 95. We were little infants, 2 years old, and, until now, unsolved, 30 years. It's 30-year anniversary, right?
Oh, yeah.
And we were thinking about doing this for Memorial Day weekend, but that was the weekend you went away. And you abandoned us to go to Disney.
Yeah.
And to get mind controlled into buying two $80 backpacks.
God damn it. You know what? I don't even care. I had a blast.
Yeah, I'm sure you had a great time.
Yeah.
I don't blame you. I'm just saying. The mind control worked on you there. But yeah, I was thinking about doing this as a 30th anniversary for Memorial Day, but we're doing it a little later. It doesn't matter. It's 30th anniversary of this guy disappearing. And again, his family's still distraught. They want to know what happened. So hopefully, even just getting this out there, maybe more people listening will look into it. Maybe someone out in that area has any information that could lead to anything. I remember something about that. I didn't know it was an unsolved mystery or something. Maybe they can help them out. I don't know. But
I found
much
a
as I
pair of
wanted to be-
Skechers. No.
yeah, I found a pair of shoes out in the woods, or I found something else that could lead that. I mean, sometimes cases are broken and figured out by the thing that you would never think would be important. You know what I mean? So anything. But as much as I really want aliens, I do believe it was just a desperate father trying to provide for his family and found a way to do it, and it went south. Something happened, and it didn't work out the way he wanted it.
I think we solved this one.
Yeah, as much as I wanted it a different way, I think that's the way to go. I'm not going to debunk aliens. I will never do it. I'm not going to. All the other ones are debunked, except for aliens. It's a possibility. Demonic possession, maybe, and the drug. I'm going to go. Maybe the drug one is 75%. All right, no, we'll do this. We'll do this. The drug one is 60%. Aliens 30%. Demonic possession 10%.
Okay. Demonic possession
Maybe
9%. Sleepiness 1%.
Oh, okay. Well, all right. Yeah, 9%, and then just sleepiness 1%. Okay.
He's
yeah.
a drowsy boy.
He's just drowsy out there. You want to do some trucking with me?
I'll go trucking.
You want to be over the road guys? We can be team drivers.
Yeah. I could never have the license for that, but yeah.
So the truck's always running. I sleep. You drive. I sleep.
Yeah. I mean,
I said I drive. I sleep twice. I drive. You sleep. Then you drive. I sleep. And we just keep trucking.
Yeah. I did do a job down in Maryland, and to get there I had to ride in the back of a box truck, so that's the closest experience I have to that was sleeping in the back of a box truck on a shelf.
Shelf.
Yeah. I have a weird life, okay?
Were you? You were cargo.
I was the cargo.
That's illegal.
And then I got out and installed a library in a private school, and then rode back to New Jersey in said box truck.
All right, that's weird.
It's a real story. Happened.
So yeah, guys, let us know yourselves what you think could be a possibility for Devin Williams. If you want to look into it yourself, or any theories you guys got that we didn't cover, you can let us know on Spotify. Has threads now for comments, so we can continue to comment back and forth, not just once. We're on X, Conspiracy Kitchen Podcast on X. We're on Instagram, Conspiracy Kitchen Podcast. We're trying to make an effort to be more active on those, on the social medias. We got a lot of interest just lately for the we live in a simulation episode on X. People have been talking about it. Yeah, so I was talking to, and then like this other guy was like, I must be on hard difficulty because my neighbors are complete scumbags. And I was like, oh, maybe the overseer thought you had it too easy last time, and now they say on a harder difficulty. But yeah, so I don't know. I was thinking maybe in the future, maybe not necessarily next episode, but in the future, diving deeper into that simulation theory that we have.
I'd be down for that.
Yeah, to like really dive into like why we could be in a simulation, because it's been kind of getting some, a little bit of attention on there. So you guys go on there, follow us on X, follow us on Instagram, give us a follow here. We're slowly gaining followers all the time on Spotify. We appreciate you all for following us. Please, if you haven't, rated us yet, 5 stars if you think we're doing a good job. 1 if you think we're dog shit, that's fine. We're big boys, we can take either way. It helps us out with the algorithm to try to get more people to see us if they haven't heard of us yet in different countries. If they don't follow us on X or anything and they're just looking through Spotify for something new to listen to and they're into conspiracies, we'll pop up on them easier if we have more people liking it, freaking following it, rating us. So, as always, yeah, it's just great. We're just always trying to.
Yeah, and as more countries join the chat, so to speak, it's getting so much easier to say everyone in the world listens, but our friends.
Yes. So, Singapore is now has a population of followers, I guess, that listen to us. They came up on our thing. Australia. So, we do have a little bit of something on every continent, but then our friends don't listen. So yeah, that's something.
Yeah, people thousands of miles away tune in to listen, but fucking a few towns over, we can go fuck ourselves. Guy got it.
And I don't want to hear the excuse. Well, I don't know this and that. If they wanted to listen, they would listen. It's that simple. Okay, so now that I guess that rant's over with. Our friends suck. That's fun. We are super fan, I guess you could say. One of our best fans, Steve Hammers, he mentioned it himself. He says they don't know what they're missing out on, and it's true. They don't know what they're missing out on. We're starting something here, a little community. We're just having fun out here, and they don't even want to listen. So
they tried to guilt trip me the other night.
Oh, boy.
They texted me. They're like, "Come meet us at this bar," and I said no, because I'm a grown man, and they're younger than me. That's weird. But they were like, "If you don't, I'm not going to listen to your next episode. You didn't listen to the other ones either. What difference does it make?"
You haven't listened to the first 21 episodes anyway, so what's the difference? Yeah, I think this is going to be our 22nd episode, by the way, guys.
God damn.
Like, we're just keep rolling around. I know, it felt like it was just yesterday. It's been 6 months.
Has it been 6 months?
Yeah, our first episode was like just before Christmas.
Oh.
It's been almost 6 months. Yeah. So, I mean, I'm having a fun time. I like doing this. It's something to do on... Yeah, it's just something we like doing, and the more people that follow us or whatever, it just motivates us to do more. And it's not something we're looking to make like money off of all the time. But if it ever gets there, it'd be just a little extra something nice for us.
Yeah, if I could quit my day job and not deal with people in person, and just do this, I'd be thrilled. But well,
yeah, I mean, I probably wouldn't quit my day job, but I enjoy doing this, and it's more for you guys, not necessarily for the money, but the money would be nicer too. So yeah, every day we just keep growing a little more every day, and I appreciate you all for listening.
As do I. Thank you for listening to us rant about dumb shit,
and thank you for listening to Josh beat the shit out of cryptids, because he is the cryptid killer after all.
Yeah, although we couldn't do that for this episode, because what would it be? Me fighting a 18-wheeler?
An alien.
Oh, an alien. I could do that.
Fighting a bag of meth.
Well, I feel like the meth...
Fighting a truck.
The meth might win that one, but... No, the truck, you cut the brake lines and step out of the way, let it go off the cliff. Anyway.
Yeah.
See?
So, as always, and I just want to remind you before I get off, stay hydrated, drink a nice, tall, cold glass of Ovaltine. It'll... So you don't have to, worry about dehydration. And we'll see you on our next episode.
Bye, everyone.